Coming up on KGNS News, as Hurricane Harvey barrels down on the Texas coast, Laredo gets ready for what will come from the hurricane. Our heatwave roller is tracking the storm. Plus, Laredo is playing host to thousands of evacuees from the Gulf Coast, packing local hotels. We'll tell you how many might still be available.
These are part of the meals that are being prepared for those seeking refuge here in Laredo from Hurricane Harvey. I'll let you know more coming up.
Coverage you can count on from your good neighbor station. This is KGNS News Evening Edition.
Good evening and thanks for tuning in to KGNS News. I'm Jerry Gatsa and has the night off. The National Hurricane Center is practically running out of scary words to describe Hurricane Harvey and get people out of its way. The center has called Harvey life-threatening, dangerous, and catastrophic with maximum wind speeds of 120 miles per hour. Here's a live look at Harvey in Galveston. Forecast to make landfall late Friday or early Saturday. And waves there are really starting to pick up all along the Texas Gulf Coast. Let's go to heat wave with more on the Category 3 storm. Heat wave.
The storm does have winds of about 125 miles per hour, and the radars and aircraft suggest that they could even be higher. The eye is nearing the coastline. Looks as if the eye will come in just on the north side of Corpus Christi, a little bit north. The eye wall, which has the highest winds, may reach Corpus Christi itself, and especially north, and the Corpus Christi Weather Service is really concerned that in the eye wall itself, some of those real high winds could be brought down in the strong, heavy rain towers that surround the eye down to the surface, so they've issued an excessive wind warning for that. Flooding would be the other main concern. We're on the southwest edge of the system. We won't have nearly the effect. I'll talk more on that in a few minutes.
Well, Texas Governor Greg Abbott has issued a state of disaster declaration for 30 Texas counties. That means Laredo can expect its share of evacuees who want to get far away from the wrath of Harvey. This afternoon, city and county leaders held a news conference to provide an update regarding emergency plans for evacuees that are headed this way. The city has 26 emergency shelters and will likely open 4 of them for evacuees.
59 and Highway 59 for the people coming in of their location of the Haynes Center, and and possible other situations. I know Webb County also has Bernie High School also available for shelters, and at this time it's still like a wait and see type of deal of how many people actually are starting to come in. We are aware that their hotels are pretty full at this time. In Webb County.
And our KGNS News reporter Marco de Vuelta is standing by live at the Haynes Rec Center where they've reached capacity. Marco, when did the Rec Center reach that capacity?
Jerry, it opened just before noon today, and we're told it's already at full capacity. Let me give you a live look of where I'm at right now. We're currently where the pets are being processed. This is where people are bringing in their pets so the city can take care of them. We've talked to a number of people coming in from other cities. They're telling us they're all coming from the area of Corpus Christi. Some arrived this morning, others last night. Inside the shelter, the American Red Cross with UISD and LISD are aiding families with a dry place to wait out the storm, food, water, and food. Now, the shelter has already been declared by the city as a full shelter. That's why they have opened another facility. That facility is the Cape Harbor Rec Center, so families should head on over there, and officials over there will be able to provide shelter for them. Reporting live near the Rec Haynes Center for KGNS News, I'm Marco Revuelta.
All right, thanks a lot, Marco. Now, for further shelter information, you can call the city's Customer Service Center number. That number is 311. Meanwhile, both school districts have been asked to feed evacuees who will be housed in Laredo's shelters. KGNS News Today anchor Norada Negron got a sneak peek of the meal prep at Laredo ISD and has more.
We're inside the LISD Nutritious Center here on Saunders, where right now they're preparing all the meals, lunch, dinner, and even for tomorrow. For those who are going to be staying at the Rec Center at Haynes and also at Cigarroa Rec Center, with us we have Roberto Cuellar. You're the director here. We're talking about a lot of meals, 100 for every meal. We're talking lunch, dinner, and also breakfast.
That is correct. As we say, we're ready, to serve meals. These meals are actually the USDA foods that we're utilizing. Today's lunch will be burrito burritos, some, you know, we have also vegetable, fruit, and we're also going to provide lemonade as far as lunch. We also have another site at DDHR in Cigarroa. They're going to be preparing for Cigarroa Rec about 100 meals as well for lunch. They have pizza and the side items, fruit and also a drink. So that's how we're doing. And for dinner, we're going to have spaghetti with some side items, broccoli and such, or another vegetable. Right. Make sure it's a full meal because we do care for the refugees that are going to be here. A lot of them will be children, families, and this is part of the contingency plan through TDA that we are allowed to do this whenever there's emergencies.
Now, they're kind of running out of time. As you can see, they're going really quickly because not only are you guys doing this, but it's because you also have the lunches for all the schools for Laredo AISD.
That is right. We serve over 24,000 lunches, so we're very excited to say that we're ready. We're ready for this mission to feed and also for the mission for the refugees as well. So you will enjoy this healthy, nutritious meal that our wonderful staff is ready in the trenches to serve, because that is our mission, to serve everyone, no matter where they're at, especially during this tough time.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Cuellar, for being with us again. All of these are going to be sent out to all the rec centers, to both rec centers that are going to be accepting refugees from those people who are coming in that were in the path of Hurricane Harvey. Reporting from the LISD Nutrition Center, I'm Noraida Negron. Back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Noraida. Now, visitors from all across the east coast of Texas are arriving here in Laredo in search of shelter due to the hurricane. Our KGNS News reporter Brenda Camacho is live here in the studio with more on how many hotels have reached capacity due to the large influx of people. Brenda, how full are they?
Well, Jerry, Laredo Chamber of Commerce Director Miguel Conchas has confirmed to me that all hotels in the Gateway City are full capacity due to those seeking shelter from the hurricane. Conchas says many hotels have been receiving calls for reservations since yesterday afternoon. One of the many hotels who reach full capacity is La Posada Hotel. That's where we spoke to several families who are waiting out the storm.
Everything, actually, because we just moved here a month ago from California. So the movers had just gotten all our stuff there, and then now we were at work yesterday and just said, you know, let's just pack up and head west just in case. So we'll see if we have anything left when we get back.
We're on the waterfront. We live on the bay, so we boarded up all of our windows yesterday and today, and we're just hoping for the best.
Several of the people we spoke to say that they do plan on staying here in the Gateway City till the end of the weekend, even if the storm dies down, just to make sure their family is safe from the possibility.
Better to be safe than sorry. All right, thanks a lot, Brenda. Now, all 44 hotels here in Laredo are full capacity. With Hurricane Harvey set to make landfall here in Texas, Texas Governor Greg Abbott has issued a disaster declaration for 30 counties, Texas counties along the coast. That means extra law enforcement will be out to help provide order, safe evacuations, and assistance to local communities. Now, CBP is advising people that during this time, they will not be conducting non-criminal immigration enforcement operations at evacuation sites, shelters, or food banks. Now, they emphasize laws will be enforced, but not at those locations, just to make sure people stay safe and seek the help they need. Well, a number of TxDOT crews from Laredo are in Corpus Christi, standing by to help keep the roads safe. The Laredo TxDOT spokesman says their job will be to help clear the roads for emergency crews once the hurricane makes landfall this weekend. As of right now, they say Laredoans are in the clear for any road closures.
In the Laredo district, we don't anticipate a lot of heavy rains or closures at this point. But then again, you don't know. As I understand, Hurricane Harvey can potentially change directions once it hits landfall. There's really no particular direction at this point, other than when it's in the water.
Now, it says the best way to keep update on any city or state closures is to follow them on Twitter. That address is right there on your screen. Texas A&M International University is opening its doors to its sister campus for shelter. More than 100 students and staff from the A&M campus in Corpus Christi are being welcomed. Now, it was believed that students from A&M Kingsville University would also be evacuated to TAMU, but that was not the case. A university spokesman says they've been receiving evacuees since Wednesday. For the time being, they'll be staying at the TAMU Kinesiology and Convocation Center. There are no current plans to cancel classes at TAMU on either today or on Saturday. take a look at our Textron Stratus traffic cams here this evening. I-35 at Garza here, there at the end of 35. You can see traffic backing out just a little bit, typical of what you'd expect to see here during the rush hour, especially on a Friday evenings. This part of town actually saw a little bit of rain earlier, but you can see things have actually dried up here at I-35 in Garza. There is still a lot of cloud cover out there, heat wave, and some parts of the area seeing some showers, but very hit and miss right now.
They are. We briefly had a shower. We had 9/100ths of an inch of rain. It came down heavily, but just very briefly. And the temperatures, with all the cloud cover, not anywhere near that 100-degree mark. We got up to 92 today. The morning low pretty much on par for this time of the year. Here's your sunrise, sunset data. I'll have more weather in a few minutes.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Laredo police are reporting the 7th homicide of the year. Police say that on August 20th, they were called out to the 2700 block of San Agustin. When police arrived, they found an unconscious man who had been assaulted in a fistfight. He was taken to a Laredo hospital, but was later flown to San Antonio, where he succumbed to his injuries.
Information that regrettably this individual had passed as a result of his injuries. The Bexar County medical examiner stated to us that in her preliminary autopsy findings, she stated that it was labeled officially as a homicide. That information was shared with the district attorney's office, and the initial charges that the individual had received of aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury on the victim was going to change to manslaughter.
Victim was identified as 57-year-old Ricardo Rangel Jr. The suspect in this case was identified as 40-year-old Juan Pablo Sanchez. Turning now back to weather, heat wave, and the discussion just being dominated by Harvey.
It's Harvey. We're fortunately for us on its south and west side, so we will not see the big impacts, although briefly it could feel like it when a rain band comes in. Right now we're not seeing the rain bands overhead. We're still on the cloudy side, 85 degrees. Northerly winds averaging 15 to 20 miles per hour with higher gusts. I'll have my full weather report after this.
It's time for your KGNS First Alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Richard Heatwave Burler.
Good evening. The warnings for Harvey hurricane force winds are expected in these counties with this shading of red. These little red areas here, these counties actually have tornado warnings, and the tornadoes are most common on the north and east side of the storm, not the part of the storm that we're on. In fact, we have no watches or warnings. This color red is where tropical storm force winds are possible. 39-mile-per-hour winds are higher. And this is the excessive wind warning that was issued by the Corpus office. The inner eye wall, the wall of the eye with its tall, towering clouds, may bring down some especially high winds of well over 100 miles per hour in the Corpus area and north and eastward. But again, we have none of that going on. Harvey is now getting close to land, and it's now a Category 4. This shows 3, but it's a 4. The winds, the aircraft now suggests that 130-mile-per-hour winds are occurring, especially on the north and eastern portion of the eye wall. And here's the 4 correctly showing up. And the expectation is once it comes inland, it's just going to perform a very slow loop and then eventually move north and eastward into southeastern Texas. This is Wednesday, so you can see how slowly this moves, and especially when it performs this loop, it would be in nearly the same spot for 3 days. So after we get rid of the storm surge and the hurricane force winds, on the east side, the winds will still be onshore, so the water levels will be high, but the big concern is the excessive rains from day after day of tropical rains coming down. The Weather Prediction Center of NOAA actually showing the expectation in a few spots as much as 40 inches of rain to fall. But we're on the southwestern side of things, much drier. We get some occasional rain bands. Here's the storm as it goes northward, and you can see the business side of the storm east of us, but we're getting some of those bands where we could briefly have some heavy downpours. Here's the wall the eye wall, which is still just offshore, but it's getting awfully close to shore. Not too much in the way of rain bands going on now in our area. And the water vapor loop with the dark greens show that the deepest layer of moisture lies east of us. So as we go through the next couple of days, I'm expecting a continuation with the system moving so slowly of on and off periods of rain bands, the concentrated area rain staying well east and north of us. So as we go through tonight and tomorrow and on through the 7-day period, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, rain bands, some briefly heavy, the potential of an inch or two all total between now and Monday. Not the 40 inches west of Houston, but briefly we could have some heavy downpours, and some of those could be accompanied by gusty winds, sunnier Tuesday on.
All right, certainly going to be something to be looking at, especially for the possibility of those heavy showers.
I'll be watching.
All right, thanks a lot, Heat Wave. Switching gears now to sports. Ryan's here, and it's all about high school football.
Yeah, the Hurricane kind of switching some things up scrimmage-wise. We had one already this morning. We'll fill you in on that. Plus, what was supposed to be a 2018 tournament ended up being an all-Laredo affair. A pair of rivals battling it out for the championship this afternoon. Find out who came out on top. That's next in sports.
From the gridiron to the links, it's time for KGNS Sports with Ryan Bailey.
With Hurricane Harvey mixing up the Friday scrimmage schedule, a pair of Laredo teams took to Shirley Field this morning to get in their final tune-up. Alexander and Figueroa both gearing up for the start of the regular season just a week away. The Bulldogs originally supposed to head over to the Corpus area and take on Flower Bluff. Instead, an all-Laredo affair that would see the Alexander have the upper hand most of the morning. They would score in the early part of the scrimmage. Both teams would go into the red zone mode to end the day, and they would score multiple times to finish off the fun. As we speak, we have a quad scrimmage going on at Shirley Field with Nixon playing host to LBJ, United, and United South. They'll be playing a round-robin format against each other. Don't forget to tune in to Friday Football Fever tonight at 10:20. We preview all 7 Laredo teams, plus give you some predictions on who we think will make the postseason and if anyone can get past that dreaded third round of the playoffs. This weekend was supposed to see Laredo hosting over 20 high school volleyball teams, but with concerns over the hurricane, it ended up as a Laredo-only 8-team one-day tourney. We start with a championship match. Rivals Alexander United battling it out for the title. Third and final set, the Bulldogs, they are down but battling. Amber Tran coming out of nowhere, going across the court for the kill. That's cutting the deficit down to 3. The next point, United trying to get it right back, and they'd go through Gabriella Canavati on the outside, not handled by Alexander. United keeping that edge in this one. Couple points later, the Longhorns, they go back to work up the middle this time. Lauren Arzaga with authority. No chance for a return from the Bulldogs on that one. United smelling the championship. Alexander, though, they're not going to go away, doing anything they can to stay alive. Aaron Villon with the finesse shot. The Bulldogs hanging around in this one. A chance for United to end it a little bit later. Arzaga with a hand on the ball. Then she's going to find a soft spot in the defense. The Longhorns outlast their rivals for the win 2-1, claiming the city championship today. Over in the other gym, Nixon and St. Augustine in the Consolation Championship. Opening set of this one, Marissa Zavala on the back line. No one home for the Knights on defense. Nixon out to a quick lead. More from the Mustangs, setting up the offense on the outside. Jenny Pena, she's got a big right arm and using it there, pushing the Nixon edge out to 4. Later in the first, St. Aug trying to make a game of it. Carla Benavides with the spike up the middle. The Knights hanging around, but it's just not meant to be this afternoon. The Mustangs win it in a sweep, 2-0. On to Major League Baseball, the Rangers, an AL West matchup against the Angels. Top of the third, a runner on for Drew Robinson. He's going to lift this one into right center. That one's got enough to get out of here. 2-run shot gets Texas on the board early. On to the 4th inning. The Rangers add on another one. This time, Mike Napoli, he puts it out. Mike Trout looked like he might have a play on that one, but it flies away. 3-0 Rangers. Into the 8th, the line of Shields, a rip down the third baseline. Jeffrey Marte there to snag it, some nice defense out of the Angels, but they wouldn't get any offense as those 3 runs hold up for Texas. They take it 3-0. And the series from the Angels in the process, Texas back in action tonight, and they will take on the Athletics staying on the West Coast. And finally, after months of hype, the wait is almost over. Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather will climb between the ropes tomorrow night in Las Vegas. Today was a chance for both men to tip the scales and make sure we'll actually have a scrap to shell out $100 for tomorrow night. While Mayweather's looking to put the cherry on top of his legacy by going 50-0 as a pro, McGregor is after respect for himself and the sport of MMA, where he built his career.
We are prepared for 12 3-minute rounds of non-stop pace, and I will go forward and I will put the pressure on him and break this old man. Trust me on that. I'm going to outbox this man at his own game. That's how skilled and how much of a different level I am to him.
Prediction time, Jerry. What do you think? Who's taking this one?
I'm going with McGregor's craziness.
You're going McGregor.
I'm going
you
McGregor.
Think he wins? I'm rooting for McGregor, but I think Mayweather wins this one. I think he wins by knockout. I like McGregor. I like how brash he is, but man, it's going to be tough for him.
49 fights, but he's never seen anybody fight quite like this guy.
This is true. This is true.
I don't know. That's what I'm kind of.
It only takes one shot. One
Yeah.
shot from the notorious one.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, Ryan. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I'm expecting temperatures to drop through the mid-80s into the low 80s as we go through the evening, and we could still have an occasional shower move through. They tend to not be as common as daytime showers where you have the heating of the day to activate rain bands, but we could still have some showers in the area.
So it'll quiet down overnight, but then tomorrow we pick up the chances again.
Yeah, and with any showers, especially in the daytime, it could be gusty.
All right, thanks a lot, Heat Wave. That's going to do it for us here on the Evening Edition. Hope to see you back here at 10. Have a great night.